So I'm coming back at you again with the Hino J08 head gasket. So I'll run through what I've done so far. Just got the valve cover gasket on. And what I like to do, I wish I had shown this to you, but I get wrapped up in work sometimes and I just have to do it. I can't YouTube like some of these other guys. These other guys got people hanging around them and stuff. It must be nice, but the gasket itself slips up into a slot here. So as you can see, there's a little bit of RTV. So what I like to do is take a little RTV, put it in that slot. So when you flip this over off your table, it will actually, the gasket will still hold in there. Same goes for your rocker box gasket. And this engine is pretty much set up like any common rail 6-cylinder nowadays. It's a lot more stuff on it, but it actually kind of resembles a common rail Cummins. But anyhow, intake is all valve lash. I had to do all that. I believe it's 0.030 intake and 0.045 exhaust. So what you want to do is, when you have this thing in time, so see, you see 1 to 6 right there, and so you want to take and make sure it's timed, and then you'll go through the procedure. It's a procedure you can look up. Start out with 1 and 2 exhaust, and it goes on. You don't do every single one, but it's like, I can't remember. I have to go in there and show you. But anyhow, yeah, let me go show you real quick. Okay, so here we are. Try to let me kill this light right here. So hold this for you here. So what we're going to do is, we got valve lash. We got our Hino 2015 238 valve lash searched. So we're going to come down here to remove and replace. And I'm going to put this on here because most y'all don't have this site. You have to pay for this site. But so what we're going to do, this is basically just stating you need to have it lined up on the flywheel, yada yada yada. Here's a picture of it right here to show you. That's what we were just looking at. So have it lined up. Come on, darn thing. Alright. And they say you gotta have some special tool bullshit. 17 millimeter on one of these bolts right here. You'll be done. You can spin it right over, it ain't no big deal. But so what you're going to be looking for is your timing marks on your cam. And make sure they are lined up properly. So if you're looking from the back side of the engine, you would have this, where there's 2 right here on your passenger side of the truck, or on the side of the head. The rocker box, excuse me, and you'll have 1 dot right here. The drill holes, little drill spots. So that's how you know your cam is in time, with your number 6 and number 1 top dead center. Anyhow, check your valve stem. Basically, check your bridges to make sure they're stuck on the valve stems. Okay, here's what y'all need to look at. So I'll try to get this zoomed in for you. And y'all can pause this. So with number 1 piston at TDC on compression stroke, you're going to do intake 1 and exhaust 1, exhaust 2, intake 3, exhaust 4, intake 5, and that's it. Now you're going to roll the engine over, and you want to look at that cam again, because the cam's going to look like this. It's going to look like the way we just showed you in this first set. The second set was 6 piston at TDC on compression stroke, which I don't understand that because they're both on compression stroke at the same time. But anyhow, your cam's going to look like this. So basically you're rolling the engine over 180 degrees, or at least rolling the crankshaft over, or camshaft over 180 degrees. So instead of having these two drill holes over here, they've been flip-flopped. So this is going to rotate clockwise. All right, let's see. Now in this one, we're going to have, this is going to be number 2 intake. Yep, number 2 intake, and then you have exhaust intake. Number 3 exhaust, 4 intake, and then you're going to have 5 exhaust. Yep, 5 exhaust, and then intake and exhaust on 6. And like I said, they're going to be, and you want to make sure when you do this that all your lobes are turned adjacent from your roller rocker. So this goes into basically some more stuff. It's a bunch of, like, basically doing this for dummies. And then it goes into actually adjusting the bridges, which the bridges never need to be adjusted unless you got some massive clanking, you got some noise in the valve train. But there's your exhaust, intake and exhaust valve clearances right there. 0.3 millimeters and then 0.45 millimeters, and then that converts it to inches. So there's your rocker stuff. Alright, so y'all got all that, and you're going to have to bear with me. I'm gonna get a GoPro here pretty soon, but just ain't had time to do it. So alright, well, we're going to go back out here to try and explain some more things. Okay, so back on the engine. Right here for all your injectors is going to be a long return line with banjo bolts. You want to make sure you put all those seals back on there and put all the banjo bolts back on there. And once you do that, or you can do these first, these are your seals for all of your injection lines straight to your injectors. So it's kind of like a, like I said, it's kind of like a common, it's common rail fuel system. So I deal with a lot with Dodge's, light duty pickups and stuff. So I'm kind of referring back to like a VP44 truck, 24 valve, because they have similar or common rails. So all this stuff is not new to me. But I'm gonna get this valve cover on, and then I'm gonna call it a night. It's already pretty late, so I'll come back in here tomorrow and get everything on the intake manifold side, get the radiator back in, any breather tubes, and I'm waiting on a turbo gasket set and a alternator, a AC belt. As you can see, it's cracked pretty bad, and these get loose all the time. I have to tighten them up. So, but I can get everything back on this side hopefully by the end of the week. But that's gonna be it for today. I'll see y'all later.